Good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave daily update for the NASDAQ 100, being recorded on Monday, October the 27th at 3:42 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It was a very dynamic day in that under fairly thin volume, the market just continued to climb. With the NASDAQ finishing the day, the cash market finishing the day up 463 points. It was a pretty steady climb, and it was a pretty dramatic climb. Now, I just want to take a peek so I can show you what we're dealing with here in the NDX. The NDX is now, like the S&Ps, had two gaps, two very large gaps. One on Friday, leaving it as an island, and then we got another one. So, as I said, when I was updating the SPX, are we forming a island chain? And kind of we are. So usually you kind of get one, you get two, and then you might get a third, which is the exhaustion gap. And I think we could be getting there because I think what we're getting is we have 1, 2, and this is A of 3, B of 3, C of 3. I'm going to put a 3 up there. Now, we haven't gotten to anything. We got past the 1.618, and that would have been 4 here, actually. And so this actually needs to be changed to this. And I think what I was doing when I was showing that was the possibility that what we're working on is just a minute first wave, which would be pretty intense, actually, at this point in my view. So I'm putting these up a degree, and so they're minuet degree. And so this would then put into sub-minuet. And sorry, I meant to change this before. I'm going to do it now, simply because it needs to be done. And if I'm going to show this properly so that it all matches up with what we got going on everywhere else. Okay, so when I get back over to the NASDAQ, to the NQ. All right, so let's put that in, and that will be good. So just changing the color, which is changing these, because remember, I try to color code my fib levels to what degree it's finishing up there. And so right now I have minuet 1, minuet 2 out of this minute fifth wave diagonal, because remember, they're all threes so far, A, B, C, very dynamic, 2 gaps thus far, coming on up to finish the third. We've surpassed 1.618. So basically on this degree, there's the possibility has been raised. There are 2 more levels here, one that the market is sitting right at, and that's for the C wave. So we got to go again. We got to look up above what this is if we want the next one for that C wave, which is going to be 2.618. And we can put that in. You can see that's 26.6. And then guess what happens? We have the third. They've got an upper level. We've got this upper level. So the market has the room to cruise up there on an extension within this C wave, with an extension within what's going to be labeled as minuet wave 3. So whether it finishes here, that'll take this with it, because we can finish this one, we may already have, but maybe we need to get up to the 618 for the minute fifth, just a resting point, not a stopping point or a completion point. So we get up there and then we pull back into 4. I think we stand a fairly good chance of coming in and overnight or somehow we get in between, or we actually do get up to these levels. And again, that's the C wave to the gold, and that's the wave 3 and the magenta level. Now, all of them, so in other words, we're not going to finish that minuet 3 here and not have finished the C wave below it. So it's not, or if we go up to here to finish that, it will then in turn finish this minuet third. It'll just be up here. So again, and for the minute wave 4 or minute wave 5, we have 100%, where minute 5 is equal to minute wave 1 at 26,920. Only in the third wave. So I think we can finish that. We come down pretty solidly. We have a sudden, just a little turn, a sudden spike or whatever's going to happen. That's going to be 4, and we go back up into 5. Now, here's the thing. I really am feeling that the wave 5 is going to need to extend in and of itself. if we're going to do it within this week, if we're going to do it moving out of this week, and we have good news from within it. So that means what happens is that all of this energy gets carried forward until we hear more from NVIDIA, and then we hear more from AMD, and then we hear from the other stocks that are yet to report. And because they will add their 2 cents to this argument about are we topping or are we going to drop. Again, this week, besides that, we have Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft. 5 out of the 7 mags are reporting this week between basically the 29th and the 30th. So a lot. Oh, Google's also in there. Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all 5. That is between the 29th and the 30th. 29th is FOMC decision day. So markets betting on or factoring in a 25 basis point cut to the rate. If it doesn't come, or if it comes in higher, greater than 25 basis points, that could really push this market in all kinds of places. The fact that we are also then on the 30th going to be having the sit down between the United States and China, all the trade reps, all the people, the Treasury Secretary, the President, et cetera, everybody's going to go there. And they're going to be meeting face to face. And either they're going to play nice or we're going to start slinging and throwing and carrying on. And if that happened, kaboom. Because I swear, then it's just so strange, because in the NASDAQ, it truly can be that it's still that fourth wave. And that would have to be, that was the only other thing that I got left, is that this 4 is going to go over. But we've gone past all of the markers, 1.2, 1.236, 1.382. We've gone past them. So, fairly well. So that's why I took them down. So for that to go here puts a much darker spin on what all of this is going to be, because I'd still be looking for this thing to come down and go below that low. And that might just be for starters. And so, and I'm going to have to, this would have to be figured out. So I think we can get a fourth wave out of this, my minuet fourth wave, and then we're coming down maybe to here. That's going to be a fairly decent drop. 500 points, good, could be quick. Or if things are leaning towards the positive side, then we don't get very far at all. There's the first line of support. Here's the second line of support. Here we have additional. We fill the gap. And those will come in, and then we rally again. So here's what we got left. We got the position where we can come, that could be the internal 3, or it's going to be the entire 3. Take it back over to the NQ. It throws a little bit different spin on it. And then again, as I've told you so many times before, anytime I just go down to the line chart, because I really got to look inside. Look at this parabolic move. Seriously, look at the parabolic move. A lot of it is, of course, the gap. That was a gap. This was a gap. But that's parabolic. When I checked in yesterday for the opening of Globex, and it gaps up 200 and some odd points, I'm like, okay, we're going. And then just kind of hung out and then kept going. And then today kept going. And then at the close, after the close, it could ding, 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 just buy it up, as if somebody seems to have been taken out. So some large trader, something where they were like, get out of that position. And they had to. That's what it appears to me. Either they ran out of margin money or whatever the situation was. But in any case, the market went there. And so what we have left in terms of on the NQ, here we have it. They're going right to it, folks. That third wave, 1.618, that is common for a third wave. We start going beyond that, I got to start going up to the 2.618, and now we're overcrossing the minor fifth wave. We're going up to, if we're starting to look like we're going to start finishing that minor fifth wave, then we're getting up there to finish the primary. So we have the intermediate, we have here, we're looking to the intermediate fifth wave and the primary third. That's what's kind of finishing up here. We get a minor fifth, an intermediate fifth, and a primary third. And so that is what we're talking about up here. And actually, that's actually wrong. And I think I'm going to have to either, let me try something. 4.236. I rearranged my fibs, and I will tell you why in a moment. Because the math, I've been just kind of like not using good math. And I mean, that's acceptable math, but not the best math. All right. So we have 4.236, which, by the way, the market went through today. So still could come back down to it and go back up to it. So that one kind of, you look at it, I don't think we're done. So I then go and take it out, which brings us to that next level, which is, it's up here, 6.845. And it's 31,000. So that's a tough call. What I do have in its wake is minute 5, 1.618 at 28,818, 100% at 27,031. So now we're up to the minute fifth. The minor fifth would have to fill in there, because once I finish this fifth, I'm finishing the minor fifth. And then I'm also finishing the intermediate fifth. And then we just keep going out to where you can actually see it. The daily in here. Still can't see it. Let me go out one more. So what I'm talking about is you have the 3 and the 4. Here's the intermediate wave 5. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 minor. Here's the minor wave 5. We're inside 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The minute fifth wave will complete the minor fifth wave, will complete the intermediate fifth wave, will complete the primary wave 3. That's how, that's the ladder. So we're sitting up there. And so, yes, I do see that we're still in October, and this is coming to pass now. So what can step in its way? What can help slow its reaching that high, that the fifth wave actually does start to subdivide? The fifth wave, we're only finishing the third, and the third might go right to here. That's valid. 764 is valid and a fib. 1.618 for the C wave. So that is 26,363. We're at 25,996. And we've been above 26,000 or 20. Or yeah, we no, we haven't. What was today's high? Let me get out of here. I think we have actually. What is this? 25,981. We got really dang close. And right now we're trading at 997. So yeah, we're trading back just under 26,000. And so, yeah, we're getting there. And for some reason, I'm not picking this up. I see something. Here we are. There it is, right there. 26,013.50 is the high thus far, hiding right there. So again, this is the pullback. I'm leaving that open. Wherever this finishes, and I could put the 3 on it, we will do a fourth wave. That's taking it from that low. So if this is 1 and this is 2 out of the 5 going up to form the C wave, then this big third. And again, as I said before, I take it down and I look at the line chart to count it all out. And it does. And a little bit extra high, it does help. So we could be staring down, we could be staring down a fourth wave. And again, if we're looking at it on an Elliott basis, the fourth wave of one lesser degree is going to be here. So just below 236, that's 25,760. That's going to be 236 points from where we're topping out, maybe where we're topping a little bit more if we're above 26,000. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. But we went up today, 400 some odd. So to come back that many in an ABC would be actually, I think, healthy. And would get, it just kind of loosens things up a little bit. Like there's got to be some liquidity in here. people that can trade in and out and not get stuck and get all worked up. So that's what I think we're going to go through. But it's that timing. It's the whole thing. It's the other picture. It's my larger picture telling me we got, we should have some additional downside. We still might get that. And it could be sudden. We still might get that. It's going to come out of the blue, and it's going to be this alternate that's sitting out there going like, I didn't think this could happen, and boom, it did. So that's what kind of the thing I'm talking about that we could get. I have it in my mind. So if it starts, it's not going to be a shock or surprise. We have upside targets, so it's not going to be a shock and surprise. That got thin up here. So what I'm talking about is like if you have a trader or somebody or some institution that needs to get some futures because they need to cover. It was like not because we're just doing this. It is an algorithm, but it's you have to cover. You're being blown out. Sometimes a trader, an individual trader, they run out of margin and they start to blow out, and the clearing firm steps in and takes them out. So everything gets covered. That's kind of how some of this looked to me. But again, we are in new all-time high. That's it. New. You can just keep saying because every tick is a new all-time high. And when we get up here, it got thin. So if you needed to buy a whole bunch, you got screwed. Because the algorithm that has the order is just going until it finds and can fill that order. So two things, if you're a day trader, you could have been out on the wrong side and you can't get out because that algorithm is going to step in front of you every inch of the way. And you add to it and you just get blasted out yourself. Because then you got to turn around and buy it at the market, and you may not like it because the offers are spread out. Again, we needed to fill in a little bit, so we need to pull back to kind of build in the area that there's a reason where things can get left. All right, and I've said both the trading and for the Elliott, two choices. We may end up in between, or we could get up as high as 26,355 up into that area, and that's going to not finish that minute fifth. It's going to finish the minuet 3, and it'll be a great one. And so this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 to finish that minuet wave 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're just finishing minuet 3. We come back down in a little bit larger 4, minuet 4, and then we go back up in minuet 5 to finish minute wave 5. It's going to get interesting because I need a lot of extensions here to push this out. Maybe the timing from the algorithm is a little bit off. So again, I've been talking for a long time that we're close to the top. We are. What degree? Okay, I'm going to have to step back and really look at it, but I'm going to be looking for things. Either way, I think we're getting close to where we're going to have a little bit larger of a correction. Degree and intensity, that we can take a step back and look at. But right now, do you see how we're racing to the top? I'm like, okay. Now, day trading, it was okay. It was okay. Gold, giving a lot of opportunities, excuse me, if you're a day trader, if you can handle it, because you want to talk about thin, that thing will go, the bids and offers will show up and it'll be like, 36, 40, 50, 60, 70, and it's not trading because the offers are moving as just as quick without it trading. The algorithms are just kind of really going into this thing and doing it. So things get moved very, very quickly in gold, and then suddenly you get a print and then it just drops or it runs even higher. That's how the NASDAQ can get as well. So we need to be careful in the trading. But in any case, I think we still have a little bit more just before we finish this minuet, wave 3. And then we're going to come down in minuet 4, and we're going to go again. Now, I could drop this degree, folks, and we're just finishing a minuet wave 1 up here wherever we top. That'll be intense, right? So, and because we could get all the way, we can get even further. So several different stories that we could talk about and that would really point this thing up to 27, 28, 29,000, which could be incredible. But that's what happens when you start getting parabolic and you're up at a like no man's land, never been here and probably won't be back soon. All right, next update will be tomorrow morning, and I will also update the gamma levels tomorrow morning.